Hi everyone, welcome to the second and last day of Emberfest. I am a bit tired. I didn't sleep that well with nervousness, but I will try to keep the energy up. So let's go. My talk is going to be about the future of Ember, kind of. Not anything like far future, more near-term future. And the title comes from a song from Jonathan Colton, which is the chorus goes, "Cause it's gonna be the future soon, and I won't always be this way when the things that make me weak and strange get engineered away." And I think this is a sentiment that is like quite familiar to the Ember community. We are always looking like to the tomorrow, sometimes like a bit too much. First, let's lay down some foundations for the rest of the talk, and let's start with me. I'm Lux, also known as Ricardo. I'm a web developer. I'm on the framework and learning core teams for Ember.js. It's been a while, like feels like a lifetime, and also feels like just yesterday. And I'm also on the web dev team for Null Signal Games. Null Signal Games is a non-profit organization that publishes releases like expansions for the Netrunner card game. And like I mentioned it here because you'll see some code that we've been writing for the new Ember app. Myself and a very good friend, we organize a local meetup called Port Codes. A bunch of our talks are in English, so if you're curious, go on YouTube. We'd love to like have more viewers. And also, if for any reason you want to practice your Portuguese, with the same friends, I co-host the Conversas em Código, a programming podcast. You can find me on Fediverse, and I'm trying to use Codeberg because it seems a bit silly to me that we have like a single point of failure in GitHub for a distributed source control manager. So yeah. Oh, by the way, I also do cubing on my spare time, and Ru is the best method. You can ask me about it. I can teach you very quickly. So yesterday it was mentioned that it's the 10th anniversary of Emberfest. So first of all, I like to let's give a quick round of applause for the organization for the awesome job they've been doing. And also, it put me in a bit of a nostalgic mood, and I started thinking about past Emberfests, and I've been thinking about past Emberfests, and I realized something that I found amusing. Like sometimes I amuse myself with the little things. So the last time I spoke was on 2017, and like a bunch of familiar faces from yesteryear, and like I was the opening keynote, and on the second day, it was Ed talking. And now this year, Ed did the opening keynote, and I'm doing the second day opener. So like this little cyclical like coincidence was amusing to me, and I guess it's a kind of theme for life in general, like life is cycles, but also for the talk. Yeah, the last time I spoke, I mentioned like a personal anecdote that when I got to Berlin, I looked at my phone and my Airbnb had been canceled. So that was like quite frustrating, and it kind of took a bit of the pressure from the presentation because like I have to sleep somewhere. This year, there's no such drastic anecdotes. But I am going to talk about a little thing that I found out. I was preparing my talk on Wednesday, as you do, and I have an example, in a code example that uses tracked array from track built-in. And I was using the fill method. The fill method basically replaces all of the elements in the array with the value that you choose to pass to it. And it wasn't working. Like, I would update the array, I would check in the debugger, the value was updated, the template was not. So that was quite strange. So I thought, let's do some investigation. I opened tracked built-in on my code editor, and thankfully, the code is quite simple, and I immediately zoomed in on this thing. Fill is on the array getter methods, but it mutates the array. Strange. Because right below you have array write then read methods. So I did the next step. I went into the node modules of the app. I hard-coded the change, and it worked. So sent a PR, and I mean, it's that easy. If you use the things, you'll break the things, you'll contribute to the things. Also another theme of the presentation. So we are in 2033. We went back to 2017. Let's go back a little bit further to 2015. And I'm going to show you a revolutionary technology that Ember had at that time, which was the starter kit. The starter kit is an amazing technology that allowed you to build apps without a build step. Amazing, right? So I'm going to show you. First, we go to the amazing Ember.js website. I hope I have Wi-Fi. I've opened the project in my code editor, finally. Sorry, it took a while. You see the HTML. It's very familiar. We see something is being rendered here in the each item. Most of you probably are not familiar with this syntax, but if you go here, we see the model. Hook is returning something. Let's just add like magenta. We'll get some prettier action going, and then we refresh. Amazing, instant feedback. No build step. Let's add a route, for example, just to complete the experience. Okay, let's call the route about. I'm going to add a couple of links. Yep, this is how you do links in Ember. Yep, about, index about. The about page doesn't have anything. Let's add something. So this one is the application template. This one is the index template. And let's do the about template. And just have like a paragraph with lorem ipsum. Then we refresh. Amazing. And like I think the best thing about this is that, like Ed mentioned yesterday, the script tag is still supported. So if you want to do, I guess, like, feel free to do this. Starter kit, 2015, but then in March something happened, and it was, I think, after 1.0, like the biggest, one of the biggest change, which was the release of Ember 1.11, and with Ember 1.11 came change to the Ember ecosystem. So before, in 1.10, you'd go to the home page, you'd see the download the starter kit. On 1.11, you would see instructions to install Ember CLI. Nowadays, build tools are like all the craze, I guess, but at the time, people were used to just like grab jQuery or MooTools or whatever from the CDN, put it in their website, and like just have the JavaScript. There was no polyfills. I mean, there kind of was, but it was different times. Yeah, and before I go, and this was actually the genesis of the learning team, because it was quite a big project to update all of the guides and documentation to like use the Ember CLI patterns instead of like script tags and globals. And eventually the team that did that effort founded the learning team, which is dear to my heart. Okay, March, next Ember CLI. Now we're gonna skip a bit ahead to 2019. And what happened in 2019? Octane was released. Another big moment for Ember because it marks the first edition. And editions is a concept in web frameworks, in JavaScript frameworks, kind of unique. We borrowed it from Rust, which Rust and Ember have a lot of affinity with each other, and we like to steal good ideas from them. And the idea with editions is to address what Marco mentioned in his talk about the pit of incoherence. So the general idea is an edition is a brand new set of ways of doing things, and we update the documentation, and we have feature flags and optional flags. And the idea is that since it's opt-in, you can gradually move to it if you're not able to jump right away, even if it's a breaking change, because it's opt-in, and that's how we rationalize. And yeah, so before that. And the pit of incoherence is when we are still working on things. They are available, you can use them, but they're not the canonical way to do things. It's not like how the documentation explains it, etc. When Octane released, we kind of managed to climb to almost the summit of the pit of incoherence, but we left some small things in the cutting room, which is going to come up later. Curiously, the editions RFC, so for how editions actually work, is still open. It's still in exploring, it's not accepted. I'm also going to mention some things about the RFC process later on. Okay, 2019, Ember Octane, big change. And then a couple of years, I mean, nothing of note happened, right? Not in Ember, not in the world, so let's move on ahead and go to the present day, or just shy of the present day. Let's go to the beginning of the year in January. Ember 4.10 released. And so we kind of included something sneakily. It actually shipped with tracked built-ins, but it's not documented yet, so that's how the RFC process works. It's released, but to be recommended, we need to document it, etc. So you can use it, and I'm going to show an example later, but it's still not the canonical way, so to speak. You can check this library. Both this and the one I'm going to talk later, Ember template tag, Ember template import, they go way back. I think template import goes to 3.7 or something. Yeah, so releasing tracked built-ins as a default dependency when you generate an Ember CLI app, bridged the gap to the summit of the pit of incoherence a bit more. Demo. So here we have a template. It doesn't really matter. You'll see it's like an accordion. You can expand sections and collapse. And here we have the code for it. So before tracked built-ins, when it was just the glimmer tracking tracked decorator, you would have to use immutable data patterns, like a lot of dot dot dots, this dot panels, and then changing or reassigning. There was like an ugly hack that we sometimes see where people do the mutation and then they assign the array to itself because that triggers the reactivity, because the trigger is in the binding, not the content of the binding. But here we can see, I mean, it's much nicer. We can see the panels push. This is just like my silly way of like creating an array of false values for each panel that's passed, so they're all collapsed by default. And then show all, I use the fill method, which you need to like hard code. So this might not work until I go into node modules and fix it. Hide all, show panel, like very straightforward JavaScript, but it does update the templates. So, and you're getting a sneak peek of this app before like all of the Netrunner community. So you are blessed individuals. Yeah, so show hides, show all, hide all. Yeah, very simple. Tracked built-ins also has a set implementation and a map implementation and an object implementation. You can check the README. And in the very short-term future, you will be able to check the guides for more information. I'm on the hook now. I'm on the Ricardo hook. So, track built-ins in January, and now we go into present/future Polaris. And yeah, Polaris is still a bit of an incognita for a lot of people. Yeah, so my first version of this talk was going to go into like how to use template tags with tracked built-ins, with Ember resources, but then I realized people at EmberConf already talked about what I wanted to say, so go watch Yehuda's talk or Ignace's talk about getting started with template tag, or Preston's like resources on resources or resources squared. They're very nice content to consume. So I'm just going to show you, because we need... So if you check this file, it doesn't really have syntax highlighting because GitHub doesn't understand GJS yet. We need 2,000 like individual files to show up in searches and a couple more requirements. So I thought, I have access to this project, I'm just going to convert. It was a supported version, so for example, let's go check a small one, maybe a bit bigger. So you can see quotes underneath in red. It was the original one. I had a simple computation for the faction ID, and then I can simplify it a bit in the template tag version. And then if you notice, so I have the template, and then here I'm exporting the function because I needed it somewhere else and I was lazy. Like, why put it in a separate file, blah, blah. It's here, I can use it, and then in the icon, I can import the format and use in the template. Hooray! And that's it for the demo. Very quick. So, additions. We have an additions page, and here I'm switching gears more to please help us out and contribute and get involved. So we have an additions page, and I recently put up the Polaris page, and as you can see, it's the canary Tomser, which is very it's canary. I mean, it's rough around the edges. And it's very, very slim, the page. And this was on purpose. Like, I don't even mention the router work that we want to do, because there's nothing concrete yet. It's still in very much in the design phase, which is excellent. If you have opinions about routing, that's the best time to get involved. There's some links to authoring formats for components. That's the Ember template tag, Ember template imports folder, repo, sorry. The new build pipeline links to Embroider. The reactivity system links to Ember resources for now. And then in how you can help, there's the main project board. It's a huge GitHub board where we're tracking the actual implementation work. But the idea is that this would be a living hub for all things Polaris. We have tried status boards kind of things before. They eventually didn't work out, but I think as an organization we're in a better, different place, and I think with some help this would be useful. And part of that different and better place is that nowadays all of our core meetings are open to the public. This only has 5 because it's I took this screenshot yesterday. It was Thursday, yes, right day. But there's 8 or 9 during the week. And particularly of note is the RFC one, which has been really instrumental in getting feedback more quickly to the RFCs. There's 2 of them, so these are GMT plus ones, but if you go on Discord, it will show you for your time zone, of course. And the idea is that the first one is for European folks, and the other one is for US people. But you can attend both. It's fine. No one's gonna hurt you. And yeah, so our meetings are open. Our RFC process has been improved with the stages. If you're curious about RFC stages, you can come talk to me or any core team member. We're pretty much all up to date on it. And I want to leave everyone with some quick thoughts. Just like Soylent Green, Ember.js is just people. Ember is made of people, and Marco's talk was very important, and it has to be a part of the discussion, because I can urge you to contribute, but yeah, that's the thing. If everyone is doing it on their spare time, I mean, not everyone is able to, etc. So we have to attack the problem from both fronts. Maybe you can talk to the higher ups. So I want to do this or I want to do that. It would benefit. Use the tactics that Marco showcased, but from the other angle. So some things. This is for Anne. Right for the Ember Times. It's probably the easiest thing to get started with. We can help you. We have tools to gather the issues. It can be something as simple as we have weekly RFC meetings. You can just go to the RFC repo, see the new notifications, write a little something about it. We usually, when we review an RFC, we leave a message with the status update. You can just pick that, rewrite it a little bit, and contribute to the Ember Times. If you have an add-on, something that you want to talk about, blog post, Ember Times. Related to that, talk about Ember. No, really talk about Ember, because the community had a problem of only talking about everyone not talking about Ember. And then eventually, even that, like, the community got tired. So we need people talking about Ember. You might think it's boring or like no one cares, but I mean, I was tweeting, like, I was taking pictures of the presenters and posting to Fediverse, and then I would click the hashtag, and it was just my post, and I was, no, come on. Sometimes, like, small things really help. Attend the meetings that I showed earlier. Ask questions. There are no-them questions. Everyone is really open, and you don't even have to have your, like, a webcam turned on. You can just listen to the meetings, like, get a feel for what happens, like, how is the process if you're curious. And then, like, asking questions is helpful to you and to us, because a lot of times, Sean, like in Sean's case, is like someone asked the tour guides a question and, like, she had a sort of revelation. Same thing happens here. Related comments on RFCs, even if it's just like agreeing or, I mean, anything. Not spam, of course, but comments, you agree, you think something is nice, you see a typo, like a sentence could be clearer, you don't understand, like, leave a line comments. Everything is helpful. And then try out the new features, like I did for tracked built-ins. I found a bug. I had the opportunity and, like, the chance to actually submit a fix, but if I couldn't submit a fix, then I would open a bug report, and someone that had time and, like, the possibility to do it would do it. Oh, and organize a meetup. There's Ember Europe. You can also talk at Ember Europe. You can also talk anywhere else about Ember. That's basically all I do. Like, my podcast is me talking about Ember. Like last week, I did a talk at a free software event about Ember. You can sneak Ember in almost anything, at least in the JavaScript world. And organize a meetup, even if it's small. Like, I've organized protocols for about 10 years. Some months it was like just me there, but you persevere, and eventually, like, people come to you. And much more you can do, but I think this is enough. This is a good starting place. Like, if you want to do more complicated things, you're probably already situated. So yeah, that was me. Thank you.